What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 29th day of November in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. Fearful that the local banks may be unable to process 300,000 checks in a single month to the tune of $30 billion, the People's National Congress Reform is calling on the government to engage the commercial banks to not only extend their working hours, but to also consider other methods of disbursing the $100,000 cash grant for Guyanese. The commercial banks are still to be consulted by the government on the cash grant payments that are to be issued through checks. However, some banks have already been exploring ways to address the issue. Hours after the National Assembly approved $30.5 billion to facilitate the disbursement of the one-off cash grant, Vice President Jagdeo on Thursday said the government intends to issue checks to 300,000 eligible Guyanese in December, once they have been registered. But economic advisor to the leader of the opposition, Elson Lowe, at a press conference today, said the banks in Guyana cannot realistically process 300,000 checks in the month of December alone, while offering their other services during regular working hours.
If the government intends to leverage the banking system to deliver cash grants by check, it needs to arrange for overtime hours and compensate banking employees accordingly. We believe that it is clear that the government needs to explore a wider range of options for persons to 1. Register, 2. Collect their checks, and 3. To cash their checks.
Mr. Lowe said it is clear that the Irfan Ali administration does not have a clear plan in place for the registration and disbursement of the cash grant. According to the Vice President, public servants and pensioners would be first in line to receive the grant. But the PNC reform believes that the government should also prioritize low-income regions, neighborhoods, and citizens.
If desperately poor families are kept waiting until the middle of next year, it will cause needless suffering. The COVID-19 cash grant is still fresh in the minds of Guyanese because not only did large numbers not receive their due, many of the lowest income neighborhoods were addressed late and last.
Lowe said the cost of living relief initiative is no doubt urgently needed and must be given to those who are desperately in need of the grant first. He said should the PNCR form the next government, it will have better systems in place to deal with cash grants.
Engage international consulting companies that have existing expertise in establishing and managing these systems, and thus this chaos, delay, and frustration will be avoided. Without such robust, flexible, and secure systems, Guyanese will be victims of discrimination, corruption, and administrative incompetence. It is our belief that tangible measures to streamline service delivery, in this case cash grants, must be implemented in order to enable the effective function of government. Guyanese deserve nothing less.
The government has said that it has begun the process of registering persons, in particular public servants and residents of Region 9, for the cash grant. Once registration is completed, the information will be processed and verified before the grant is issued. The government said once the $30.5 billion is exhausted, it will include additional sums in next year's national budget to facilitate payments to the remaining persons who may be eligible for the grant. It is estimated that at the end of the distribution exercise, some $60 billion would have been issued. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Phoenix Oilfield Services and Engineering Inc. is a 100% owned Guyanese company that specializes in supporting the growing oil and gas industry in Guyana. We do this by providing procurement services, civil and engineering services, facilities maintenance, janitorial, equipment rental, and servicing. Phoenix offers a wide range of products such as HDP bottles, cotton rags, Turkish towels, as well as absorbent pads as well, which we supply to the oil and gas industry. We also do engineering, so this ranges from the design to the actual construction of the projects. Phoenix Oilfield Services and Engineering Inc. is a proud local support company for the oil and gas sector, providing excellence in every experience.
Honey, what were you doing? Let's cash out. Let's cash out.
Shop $5,000 or more at any Massey stores for a chance to win a 2024 Nissan Qashqai Sense and $100,000 every 2 weeks with Massey Stores Christmas Jackpot Promotion.
The Global Super League has arrived. It's time for the Amazon Warriors to face their toughest test yet. Support your Warriors as they take on cricket powerhouses from Australia, Bangladesh, England and Pakistan. Tickets are available now at the box office or online at gslt20.com. The ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League. You don't want to miss this.
The Opposition Alliance for Change today said it has been able to confirm that Guyana's loan application before the U.S. Export-Import Bank is still in the processing stages and has not been fully approved. While the bank's board has approved Guyana's loan request, it still has to be approved by the U.S. Congress. On Thursday, Vice President Barra Jagdeo told the news conference that the U.S. EXIM Bank has approved a $509 million loan for Guyana for the gas-to-energy project, and that the financing will be retroactive. Guyana had applied for over $650 million US. At a press conference today, AFC Chairman and Member of Parliament for the Opposition, David Patterson, said his party reached out to an official at the EXIM Bank regarding the loan, and the official expressed shock at the Vice President's statement. Mr. Patterson said that the EXIM Bank official, who he did not name, noted that the U.S. Congress is currently in transition following the just concluded elections and will not deal with any such applications now. Patterson said he was further informed that because of the new composition of the U.S. Congress, with the Republicans taking over both houses, it will take a long time before Guyana's application goes before the Congress, whenever and if it is approved.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time that Jagdeo has told the nation that this project has been approved or is about to be approved by the U.S. EXIM Bank. We have 41 days until the next U.S. EXIM Bank meeting. So the nation will soon learn more and soon learn the truth.
On the question of retroactive financing, the AFC executive noted that his party was informed that the bank has never done retroactive financing and that it is highly unlikely that such a concession will be afforded to Guyana. On the question of the Gulf Shore project, Mr. Patterson said the project is limping along, despite 58% of the budgeted cost for the power plant being expended. The opposition MP also said he recently visited the site of the construction, and from his own estimation as an engineer, the project is nowhere near completion, as the foundation for the power plant is still to be completed.
We also note that the government has since changed their tune, which they started in 2020, moving from a promised 50% reduction in rates to be paid by consumers for electricity, and they're now saying obviously the project will significantly reduce rates. Is a prime example that the entire financing modeling for this project has been flawed, and it will not achieve anything where the PPP has said.
The government has been financing the project and estimates that it will be completed by the end of next year. Estimating that the voters list has the names of more than 200,000 dead persons and overseas-based Guyanese, opposition member of parliament and the executive member of the PNC Reform, Ganesh Mahipal, today said that an extremely bloated list coupled with outdated photos of voters is a recipe for electoral fraud. At a Congress Place press conference this morning, Mr. Mahipal said the situation is deeply troubling and the Guyana Elections Commission may find itself unable to deliver an election that accurately reflects the democratic will of the Guyanese people. According to GCOM, the list of electors currently has more than 718,000 persons.
The fact that the list of electors will soon match and surpass Guyana's entire population should alarm the nation. This situation has been caused by the inclusion of over 200,000 deceased local and overseas citizens and those who no longer live here.
Mahipal said the bloated list provides sufficient grounds to question whether GCOM can deliver an election that accurately reflects the will of the people. The opposition MP pressed GCOM to adopt modern election management practices that would prevent multiple voting, voter impersonation, and other cases of fraud. He said the current verification system, which is based on manual facial recognition using the photographs and ID cards and folios at polling stations, is insufficient to guard against voter impersonation.
Without doubt, these photos are inadequate in three critical regards. One, on both ID cards and folios, the photos are the size of a small stamp. Two, they are mostly blurred and otherwise unclear. And three, worst of all, they were mostly taken in the last house-to-house exercise in 2008, 16 years ago. To repeat, 16 years ago. It means that teenagers registered in 2008 would today be in their 30s. People then in their 40s would now be in their 60s. It is a fact of life that 16 years of aging would have produced significant changes in how persons look. In these circumstances, a voter verification system that completely demands on manual facial recognition is prone to both genuine errors and organized manipulation. GCOM must know this is unacceptable.
Mahipal said for the Elections Commission to argue that the accurate identification of voters is one of its main safeguards against multiple voting is to ignore the fact that the electoral system is totally manual. He has renewed the party's call for a clean voters list and for electronic verification of voters using fingerprint biometrics technology. The Elections Commission has said it can only be guided by the law governing elections here in Guyana.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Guyana! Time to bring out your kids for Christmas shopping at the 3rd Annual Christmas Business Expo and Kids Zone from Friday 13th to Sunday 15th December at the National Stadium. I'll be there along with the Grinch, Scooby-Doo, Big Bird, SpongeBob, Elmo, and many more. There will be free ice cream, free snacks, and toys for the kids with lots of games, side attractions, and entertainment. And for the adults, there will be vendors selling offering all kinds of cool Christmas gifts. Ho, ho, ho! Don't miss the Christmas Business Expo and Kids Zone at the National Stadium, Friday 13th to Sunday 15th December. For vending, call 723-9450 or 683-8223. Admission is only $1,500 for adults. Kids are in absolutely free.
It's here again! The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union Festive Favorites Christmas promotion is here. Members, here is your chance to win and win big. You can win one of 10 50-inch television sets, over 40 grocery vouchers valued $50,000, one of 10 microwaves, one of 10 vacuums, and one of 10 Samsung cell phones. But wait, that's not all. Members also have a chance to win one 60-inch television, an air conditioning unit, a double-door refrigerator, a trip for two to Kaitro Falls, and a grand prize of $500,000. Yes, you heard right. $500,000. It's Festive Favorites at GPS CCU. To enter this promotion, you must be a member of the credit union in good standing and must have taken your first loan. Each member is entitled to only one coupon. Coupons are available at our Hatfield Street office and our representatives countrywide. Happy holidays from the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. People helping people.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. How to apply for registration? You must visit the GCOM registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons from your area of residence to apply for registration or name change or correction. You must be in possession of the following source documents as might be relevant: original birth certificate or valid Guyana passport for new registration, original marriage certificate and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by way of marriage, original deed poll and original birth certificate in the case of a name change by deed poll, original naturalization certificate and original birth certificate or valid passport in the case of naturalization. This registration exercise will end on November 29th, 2024. For further information, please contact GCOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
General Secretary of the governing People's Progressive Party, Vice President Barrett Jagdeo, is standing by his Central Committee member, Attorney General Anil Nandlal, amid allegations that Mr. Nandlal has been leaking confidential party and government information to social media activist Melissa Atwell, also known as Melly Mel. In a number of social media posts last week, Ms. Atwell claimed that Mr. Nandlal has been providing her with inside information about his party and government colleagues. Nandlal has denied the allegations and has filed a $100 million lawsuit against the activist. On Thursday, Vice President Jagdeo said he does not pay too much attention to unverified allegations, but for now, Mr. Nandlal enjoys his full confidence.
So when I get verified info, and we have our means of verifying information too, that's when we act on them. But so far, I've not dealt with any unverified information. There's no way of proving these matters. If they're solid proof, that's a different matter. But as of now, Anil Nandilal enjoys my confidence as General Secretary of the party.
The Attorney General has denied knowing Melly Mel or ever having any discussions with her or even being in communication with her. His lawsuit claims that Atwell's post contained false, malicious, and defamatory allegations that have damaged his reputation and standing as a senior attorney and government minister. Atwell has said she is standing by her claims and is ready to provide evidence whenever the time comes. A government team led by Minister of Works Juan Edgell and Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell visited the South Rhinebeald community today after residents concerned about the state of the still-to-be rehabilitated sections of Aubrey Barker Road staged a fiery protest last evening. Several frustrated residents set fire to debris on the road last night to highlight their concern about the state of the road and its continued disrepair as heavy-duty trucks now use the roadway to take material to the housing and other developments taking place in Cummings Lodge. This morning, during the visit by government officials, Georgetown City Councillor and constituency representative for South Rhinebeald, Kibwe Copeland of the APNU, told the ministers that the complaints of residents have been falling on deaf ears for too long. He explained that although sections of the roadway have already been rebuilt, the still-to-be completed sections remain in disrepair, and the road is getting worse every day, as uncaring truck drivers speed through the area, causing more damage to the roadway. He said there should be regular maintenance of the road ahead of its full reconstruction.
Was a recap of what happened a few months ago. The road was damaged, of course, because the trucks going to build stuff for the back. Person's concern is not that they're looking for a complete paved road. We understand, of course, work is happening, so the trucks will damage the road. The road wasn't built for the level of trucks. The problem is the maintenance. The last time I think Minister Indar came, when he came, they did some stuff. They put some crusher on whatever it is, the patted down, and it was good for a little while. But of course, with the traversing and weather, the road broke up again. So last night when I came, I saw the road was blocked off. Person said the bumper come off, very sorry, and so on. So the main concern is when this work is happening, that the trucks continuously or whatever machinery continue to maintain the road. Because
make it drivable.
Yeah, make it drivable. And this is one of the residents as well who lives right at the back here. Person had to be going through National Avenue to come through Rosa Drive. And then the other two corners which had no alternative. Either you park outside or you take the risk of driving in. If you come out walking, you gotta get long boots or you gotta take mud on your foot. So this is the basic concern. It's not
deplorable for more than a year. This is no way to live. The amount of money I spend on maintaining my car is about 3 times what I normally spend to maintain it. My bumper over the past month ripped twice. I was stuck on 3 occasions. Twice I had to be bumped out and once pulled out. It's awful and they need to do something. Not something in patchwork fashion. They need to do something sustainable. This is a community. People live here and they deserve some decent treatment.
Meanwhile, Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell acknowledged the concerns of the residents. He explained that when completed, the road will link Ogle to the 4-lane Mandela to Eccles roadway. He said he understands the frustration of the residents and action will be taken.
So there will be heavy traffic, and as you rightly said, this is just a small portion. I mean, government, Minister Bishop will speak in depth in terms of what they are doing for the roads, because all here is expected to be done for 4-lane. But quite rightly, is as expected, some bit of maintenance while work is going on. And obviously, if it's graded a little or scraped a little, then it will reduce the vibration from the trucks driving. But this will be one of the main thoroughfares for entrance or egress or ingress.
And Minister of Works Juan Edgell also explained the ongoing works being done in the area. He said Aubrey Barker Road is being transformed into a 4-lane roadway, but the road works are being done by lots. The minister said 2 lots have already been completed.
The concern, however, is that while construction is going on and the development of the housing, the maintenance of the road. Yes, sir. So last night we made an intervention. Mr. Kester Hines is my senior engineer in charge of what is called our main access roads program. He came in last night. The contractor that will be working on this section will be advised in terms of the maintenance while we continue.
The government has been undertaking major roadworks in a number of communities across the country as part of its massive infrastructure development push. The Guyana Police Force is investigating the discovery of just over 217 pounds of marijuana, which was dumped into the Demerara River by the operators of a speedboat that was being chased by the Coast Guard. The incident took place at around 2 o'clock on Thursday morning in the vicinity of the Vredon Hoop Stelling. A police report stated that a red and black wooden boat with an outboard engine was observed by Coast Guard ranks traveling south into the Demerara River with 2 or 3 occupants. Upon seeing the Coast Guard personnel, the occupants began throwing several bulky parcels overboard. In response, the Coast Guard personnel approached the boat, but the boat proceeded into the channel near the Vredon Hoop Stelling area. The Coast Guard then returned to the area where they had witnessed the occupants discarding the parcels. The police said at that location they discovered a number of bulky salt bags floating, and upon closer inspection they found that each bag contained numerous smaller packages wrapped in transparent plastic. Those packages were found to contain marijuana leaves, seeds, and stems. The items were retrieved by the Coast Guard and taken to its headquarters. The boat was later found abandoned in the Demerara River. The marijuana along with the abandoned boat were later handed over to the police. The police said there have been no arrests, but its investigations are ongoing tonight.
This season, decorate like a designer with the perfect splash of color. Whether you're dreaming of a calm combination or a bold space, only Harris Paints has just what you need. Explore our new collection of trending color palettes by top Caribbean designers and transform your space with confidence and style. And the best part, from now until December 24th, save up to 40% off at Harris stores and participating dealers. Plus, chance to win an extra 10%. It's the perfect opportunity to decorate like a designer for less.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 hours, 13 hours to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact the GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit the website www.gcom.org.gy.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Across the region tonight, let's begin in Trinidad and Tobago, where the Trinidad Express is reporting that despite criticisms, the Kit Rowley government has decided to accept proposed salary increases recommended by the Salaries Review Commission in its latest report. Making the announcement at yesterday's post-cabinet press briefing, Prime Minister Dr. Kit Rowley said it was 13 years since the senior office holders falling under the purview of the Salaries Review Commission had received salary increases. He said he was accepting the responsibility and maybe the wrath of those who give him the responsibility of Prime Minister. When implemented, the Prime Minister's salary will be $87,847 Trinidad and Tobago dollars per month. That works out to almost $13,000 per month. Prime Minister Rowley said one of the first things his government did on assuming office back in 2015 was to pay public servants a 15% increase in salary and a back pay of $6.5 billion at a time when terms and conditions of top office holders were frozen. Included in the top office holders are the President, the Prime Minister, Ministers of Government, Opposition Leader, Parliamentarians, members of the Judiciary, senior public servants such as Head of the Protective Services, Permanent Secretaries, members of the Commissions, among others. The Prime Minister said he expected the Opposition Leader to seek to extract as much political juice as possible out of the situation. Venezuela's National Assembly has unanimously voted to approve a law which could lead to bans on holding public office of up to 60 years for those who express support for the imposition of sanctions on the South American country. The so-called Simon Bolivar Liberator Law also includes measures to prosecute people in absentia and represents the latest move by President Nicolas Maduro's government to tighten regulations on everything from non-governmental organizations to social media, following July's contested presidential election. The vote by the ruling party-dominated legislature follows the approval earlier this month by the U.S. House of Representatives of the so-called Bolivar Law, which would prohibit U.S. government bodies from hiring people who have business dealings with Maduro's government. The Bolivar Law, which needs final approval from the U.S. Senate, has been labeled trash by Maduro. Temporary bans on holding office levied on opposition politicians over their support for sanctions on Maduro's government and other accusations are regular occurrences in Venezuela. The opposition leader Marina Corina Machado had her 15-year ban on holding public office upheld back in January. And finally tonight, international news. Thousands of protesters have returned to the streets in Georgia tonight to protest against the government's decision to suspend ascension talks with the European Union until the end of 2028. Demonstrators were seen shouting traitors and holding photographs of journalists who they say were beaten by the police overnight. The previous night's protest saw the police use pepper spray and water cannon against demonstrators, with the government saying 43 people were arrested. Earlier, more than 100 diplomats and civil servants in Georgia signed an open letter saying the government's decision does not align with Georgia's strategic interests. Defending his decision, the Prime Minister of Georgia accused the European Union of blackmail after EU legislators called for last month's parliamentary elections in Georgia to be rerun. This cited significant irregularities. Since 2012, Georgia has been governed by Georgian Dream, a party which critics say has tried to move the country away from the EU and closer to Russia. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable weekend.